Happy Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for? Please write it in the comments. I'm thanking you for sharing and for all you do. Really, you guys, without you, this whole charity, the Aliyah Return Center, wouldn't even exist. So much is going on in Israel. Egyptian delegation is arriving soon to propose a ceasefire with a prisoner swap, like releasing the hostages, set them free. And there's an optimism that it could work. And there's an optimism that hopefully somehow these Hezbollah terrorists will not just continue their plans, their diabolical plans to destroy Israel, and that these 2 months will really be a time of calm. I see people walking the streets where the streets were empty. People were in bomb shelters, hiding, crying, fearing for their lives. And now these talks hopefully won't be just a hudna. Now, a hudna is like a regrouping time. That is, it's a trick that Muhammad did, where he says they lie and say, sure, we're willing to cease firing, but really we're just trying to regroup and rearm and do an even worse atrocity to mankind. Now, the ceasefire that they're talking about with Hamas, who still are holding American hostages and Israeli hostages and so many more, Hamas ceasefire would say that they'd release a whole bunch of hostages alive and a detailed list of the hostages that are not alive, and the Rafah crossing would be open under European and Palestinian supervision. Can you trust a terrorist? Can you trust them? No, the answer is no. And we did a lot of work to make sure the Rafah crossing is safe and it's not being filled with rearmament. And so then you look at Hezbollah in the north, and you look at a UN Council Resolution 1701 passed in August 2006 at the end of the Second Lebanon War. And so they're supposed to adhere to that, abide by that. And but here's what it is. I mean, it's really not a ceasefire. It's a ceasefire. It's not a formal end to hostilities. So let's see whether Hezbollah wants to trigger another round of hostilities. If they've already broken it twice. I mean, is this what they want to be? Is this what they want to do? I mean, Israel has decimated a lot of Hezbollah leadership and their capability to command. They may never recover from this. There's a thought that really, with the U.S. involvement now in a much greater way, maybe they'll have some deterrence where they'll say, with the entire CENTCOM here, maybe they won't want to attack us because they'll have great ramifications, especially with the incoming Trump administration. And, Israel's done a great job of separating also the Lebanese people from Hezbollah and they're actually blaming the Hezbollah and saying, why has Hezbollah done this to us? And it's just been amazing, the successes that we've had as an army. And but yes, there's definitely forces that are still deployed all along the Lebanon border. Still our forces scanning to see what's going to happen, on heightened alert. And so it's really, we must together prevent a reoccurring, a replay of this, this horrible time that we've had. And there's drones that are still flying. And so we're watching every single thing. But it does feel pretty quiet, eerily quiet over the Golan Heights, over the Haifa Bay. There is one last very big question which I have to ask. I mean, Hezbollah is part of the Lebanese government now. You remember, because of all the cocaine deals, the drug trade they do, they were able to fund and bribe their way into the government of Lebanon. So how can you really say that they are going to stop their diabolical mission against the free world unless they are kicked out of the government? Shouldn't that be part of the deal? So here's some key reasons why we must continue. We must prepare. Thank you for the thermal drones. We want to continue to get these drones and have enhanced readiness, enhanced surveillance, especially now while we're trying to see what's going on over in these areas, and especially we believe to continue to rescue these hostages from the dungeons of darkness and terror. Zechariah 8 verse 7, this is what the Almighty says: I will save my people from the countries of the east and the west. I'll bring them back to live in Jerusalem. They will be my people, and I will be faithful and righteous to them. I will be their God.